helps our body to use insulin better. So which means that we're not making enough insulin. It's going to put some of that in our muscles, and some of it will be stored in our liver.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopathic Dr. Fiona Chin, co-founder of Kidney Coach and Kaigenesis, and I'm joined again today by the amazing, wonderful, fabulous, fantastic Kelly Soms. Did you want to dip more into insulin resistance and how that works and how the ketones and BHP works with that insulin resistance piece, since you're so good at making complex easy to understand?
Yeah, well, like I said, the base of it is really it helps our body to use insulin better. So when you have a lot of visceral fat, or you have these poor health markers that we talked about that make metabolic syndrome, what happens is we become what's called insulin resistant. So you have an organ in your body called a pancreas, and your pancreas is lined with these little cells called beta cells. And I like to think of your pancreas as a factory and your beta cells like the workers, okay? And so when you have something like prediabetes, or when you first get diagnosed with diabetes, half your factory has already been laid off. So you've already lost half your beta cells. So it's already running inefficiently, okay? Which means that we're not making enough insulin, and the insulin that we're making isn't working properly, because how insulin works is it's like a bus that carries sugar over to the cells, and think of your cells as having a little lock there. And think of the bus as having a key on the front, and it kind of opens the cell up, it lets the sugar off, it goes into the cell, and your body makes energy. What happens when we have a large waist, when we have metabolic syndrome, is it's like having a linebacker or putty in the door, okay? So you've got this visceral fat that acts as resistance. So now insulin cannot open the cell to let the sugar in. So what happens is the sugar builds up in the blood, okay? And this is where our blood sugars get high. And this is how we end up getting diagnosed with prediabetes and then diabetes. So it causes our body's insulin, the insulin that we're making, which again, at this stage, because of our poor health, we could be making less in general. That's one problem. And then the bigger problem is now we've got to go against that big linebacker, the visceral fat, or the insulin resistance that our body has created. Does that make sense?
100%. So using that analogy, what now happens when we switch to a high-fat diet as our main fuel source? What happens to our line buses?
Yes.
Our linebackers and our buses.
Yeah. So what happens is, first of all, our body is going to, some of that sugar I told you that builds up in the blood, first our body's going to try to store some of that, kind of like a reserve, right? For emergencies. And so it's going to put some of that in our muscles, and some of it will be stored in our liver. Okay. And so again, over time, that's how some people can end up with fatty liver disease from all this accumulation of sugar, okay, that's being stored there. So with ketosis and with the ketones, what happens is that first probably 48 hours, the first thing your body does is it depletes all of those extra stores. So the muscles and the liver are going to release that sugar, okay? And so we don't have any extra sugar. And so your body needs a source, because it's used up its last reserve tanks, like a water tower, kind of holds extra water for the city. And so now it has to find a fuel source. So what it does is it takes the fat that we've ingested from the diet, and it breaks it down into ketone bodies. And these ketone bodies then are used as fuel sources. And so again, that helps to really reduce all of the extra sugar, and the fat cells start to shrink and all these things. That's where we get such great weight loss. Now, we do get a little water loss in the beginning, like any other reduced diet plan that you may follow. So, the first couple of weeks, you might lose a little extra weight, but some of that's just water coming off. Okay. But then after that, we're going to start to get some of that visceral fat, and that will start to come down. So that's kind of how that works.
Kelly, you're amazing as always. Again, if you want to work with Kelly individually, this is what she does. She's an absolute expert when it comes to all things diabetes and kidney disease. So you can head across to kidneynutritionalinstitute.org. I'll put the link in below and all the details are there. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out more content. And thank you. Thanks for being part of our community. We'll see you next time. Bye.